What's going on, guys? It's been a long time, but we are back. Recon Angling Live. Been pretty busy out here. As you can see, I decided to set up the live show inside the Otter um, Vortex Pro Resort. This thing's got a lot of room. What's going on, Clarence, Jason, Sean, uh, everybody else that's watching? Um, we got a good show tonight. A lot of stuff to catch up on. A lot of new exciting things. I had to play the old intro one last time, so we're gonna try to do this show. What's going on, Dalton? We're gonna try to do this show every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. So Tuesday or Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock, preferably Tuesdays. We'll see what comes up with the schedule, but we plan on going live on having different guests and stuff like that every week. So I decided to shake it up a little bit and go live from inside the hut. This thing is huge. So those of you who, what's going on, Lindsay? Those of you who have been out with me on the ice, what's going on, Brad? Have seen this hut in person and know just how big this thing is. So tonight's show, we're going to talk a little bit about must-have stuff. I went to the St. Paul Ice Show. Been well over a month ago now, believe it or not. Winter has kind of taken its time showing up this year. Hey, thanks, Greg. And Lindsay, say hi to Jason for me. Oh, Gannon, what's going on, Gannon? So man, I lost where my train of thought was here. Oh yeah, must have ice gear. So I went to the St. Paul Ice Expo. Got to talk with a lot of cool vendors. Got to see a lot of new products out there that a lot of us out west here maybe don't get an opportunity to see all the time. So I'm going to share a few things with you guys that I have that I saw at the show. Some products I was able to get my hands on. And then some products that I use almost every day guiding and then fishing for fun. I do that from time to time still as well. But kind of the first thing I want to talk about is the lighting I have in here is actually the Otter lights. So kind of the first thing here is this Otter Pro Universal LED light kit. That's pretty much what's lighting inside the hut right now. It runs off of, I have it hooked up to a 7 amp hour Norsk lithium battery. But that's kind of the first thing I wanted to talk about. These lights are pretty cool. They're dimmable. If I was smart, I would have put the wiring and the switch behind me so I could have reached back and showed you guys how to do that. But yeah, one thing at a time anyway. But they are dimmable, so it is cool. If you don't want a whole bunch of light, you can dim the lights down. I have it running, like I said, on a 7 amp hour Norsk lithium battery that's tucked into one of the pouches on this hut here. I'm going to take the camera off for a brief second to show you guys kind of, let's see if I can do this. Nope. Okay. So you can see there the pouch. That's what I have the battery in on the other side. And as you can see, there are rod holders built into the side of the hut here. And then you can see the lights up here. But as you can see, I have a whole table and nonsense going on in here. So it is a very big hut. So if you're looking for a hut, if you're looking for a hut that has a lot of room, this is kind of it. What's going on, Jeremy? Yeah, Jason, you can come. This is big enough. We can throw a cot in here for you to sleep in. But we also wanted to talk a little bit about the Mac Attack tournament that's coming up this weekend. Don't really have a whole lot of ice here at Flaming Gorge. Those of you who are watching who are curious about the ice situation, there's only ice about down to County Road 11. So that's just a little bit south of Lost Dog that we have ice. There was a bunch of ice forming out here in the buckboard main body, Big Bend, all of that. There was some really nice ice that was building out there. And then our wonderful Wyoming wind decided to show up and ruin all the ice. So the water temperature out there is 33, 34 degrees. It's just waiting for a few cold nights without any wind, and it's going to cap. It was making ice last week out there. Probably about had an inch and a half of ice out there on the main lake before the wind kicked up and decided we didn't need ice anymore. So I've been out on the boat, doing pretty good out on the boat fishing. It's been pretty good. A lot of nice fish, post spawn fish, beautiful colors. But it's been some pretty good action. But the Mac Attack tournament coming up this weekend is going to be a great event. Last year we gave away over $60,000 in cash and prizes on the event. This year we're looking to do the same. I have the flyer right here that I'll kind of show you guys. But this year they have internal tags. Each internally tagged lake trout that is caught is worth $2,500, and there are 10 tags. So there is a possibility of $25,000 being awarded if these fish are caught. And then, there are categories for heaviest team weight for each day. Saturday is $500, and these dollar amounts that I'm about to read off, they are all guaranteed money. So each category has a cash sponsor. This is on top of, first through fifth place that we're doing based on entry fees. All these categories I'm about to list off are all in addition to that. So, $500 is sponsored by Silver Slayers Tackle for Saturday, and that's for the heaviest average team weight. So you don't need to win the tournament, but if Saturday you come out and say you have, a team of 4 and your average team weight was the highest for the day, you guys win $500 on top of anything else. Same thing for Sunday, $500, and that's sponsored by Ed Keenly Ford. There's also biggest burbot each day. So Saturday is $500 for the biggest burbot, and that's by Dry Creek Outfitters. They make some pretty good tubes. If you guys, I'm sure some of you are familiar. One of my favorite little smallmouth tubes to use out here at the gorge is one of their little green watermelon with red flake. And then Sunday is another $500, and that's brought to you by Ron Palmer Construction. And then we go into heaviest individual lake trout less than 19 inches. So the lake trout cannot hit 19 inches, but the heaviest weight, and we're paying out 3 places. So first, second, and third place. First place is $400. Second place is $200. Third place is $150, and that is Saturday and Sunday. So each day. So Saturday is sponsored by N&W Enterprises. So shout out to Nunny and Walker for donating that. And then Sunday, same thing. First place $400, second place $200, third place $150, and that's brought to you by Barry Concrete Cutting. So shout out to Nick for that. And then you have lightest individual lake trout, less than 11 inches. So it's kind of a cool category. You can catch tiny fish and still win. First, second, and third, $250, $150, and $100. And Saturday is sponsored by Fish Hunter Charters. Sunday is sponsored by Interstate Gradings. So that's an opportunity for extra money each day. And then we have externally tagged lake trout too. That's sponsored by the Wyoming Game and Fish. First place is $250, second $150, third $100, and that's for any externally tagged lake trout, orange, green, or pink tag. Bring that in. Best team name, $250. And then I'm going to throw this one in here. If you guys are fishing the Derby and you have the coolest looking weigh bag that you're bringing your fish in, we'll have a cool special prize for you guys for that too. So get creative with those bags that you're bringing in for the tournament. We also have prize drawings. So Stryker has donated an Apex, their Apex suit. This is a $900 value. So we'll be giving that away. And then also a Youth Avenger suit, the new Youth Avenger suit. It does float. So if your kids are into ice fishing, they have an option of a youth suit that is durable. It floats. And we'll be giving one of those away as well. We're also, again, this year bringing back, we're giving away a youth Wyoming resident lifetime fishing license. So Recon Angling sponsored one last year for that. And last year, we actually gave away 3 youth lifetime licenses. So pretty cool. Not a whole lot of tournaments out there that give away a lifetime license if they're a resident of their state. We do that here in Wyoming. We're also giving away a half-day charter, one by BMF Outfitters, so TJ, and then one by myself as well, to go help you learn how to catch pups out there. So there's so much more. Big Fish Encounters is donating Fish Finder. BB's Big Blades is donating some blades. Mama Hog Rods donating some rods. Dynamic Lures is donating some stuff. So a lot of cool things for the tournament that's this weekend. It is boat or ice fishing, so you can ice or go on the boat to do it. But just wanted to give a quick shout out about that, and then kind of go into the ice fishing stuff here. So one of the cool things that I was, and if you guys are live out there, let's get some comments flowing. They kind of stopped about 10 minutes ago. So I just want to make sure everything is going good. And we get some, if you guys are watching, post a comment in there. We're also doing a giveaway at the end of the show too. You had to share the live event before we went live to be entered. And we're going to be giving away a dynamic ice rod right here. Dynamic ice rod and some lures. So dynamic bundle, we'll be giving that away at the end of the show. I already have the winner selected for that. But anyway, oh, there we go. Now we got some comments coming in. Yeah, Nick's tons of prizes. What's going on, Carl? But yeah, so one of the cool things is, each year Dynamic, we come out with a new ice rod. This is this year's rod. Comes in a 28-inch medium or a 26-inch light. I've caught a few fish on these. I love these rods. My biggest cut bow I've ever caught at Henry's Lake was actually on the 31-inch version of this. 33 and a half inches, 16 pounds. Cool little ice rods. What's going on, Eric? Kurt says the bite has been a little rough, or do I just suck at fishing? Well, Kurt, maybe you're just not using the force correctly. I'm not sure. The bite for me has been amazing for big fish. What's going on, Mike? Good to see you guys. Hope you and Tammy are doing good down there. What's going on, Arian? What's going on, Weston? If you guys are interested in buying one of these dynamic rods, you can go to dynamiclures.com and you can put in the code RECON21 to get 15% off your order. So again, that's RECON21. What's going on, Colin? For 15%. So let's talk about some striker gear. So we have the new striker. These are the new striker stealth gloves. So it's a really cool lightweight glove. I like to use it. Can't even get my big old hands in here. But I like to use these when I'm out jigging. I can still feel the bite. Newly redesigned for this year. You can see it's got the little touch pad on there. Works great for touch screens. But this is actually a really good waterproof, pretty warm glove. I've worn it. If you guys saw my crazy videos up in a blizzard on a mountain, I was wearing just these gloves, and they kept me pretty warm. So that's kind of the newly redesigned for this year. They come in this color, the camo strike, and then the black set. Also at Dynamic, we have the big 7-inch tubes here. So that's what this color here has been pretty good for big fish. White, green. all that sorts of stuff works pretty good for that. Let's hop back over to the comments real quick. What's going on, Joel, Lonnie? Yes, yeah, I like it for smaller fish. Not what I use for big fish. Big fish, I use Fetter's custom rods for the lake trout. So shout out to Jeff. Yeah, Matt, the gloves they're great. What's going on, Mike? I love them. They're so versatile. You can wear them pretty much for anything, and they're lightweight too. So, yeah, right. The lake trout whisperer. Yeah, what's going on, Tell? But yeah, so once again, I'll kind of show you guys. So this is the Otter Universal LED light kit. Very simple to set up. As I showed you guys, it's kind of what's powering the lights inside the Otter hut right now. And yeah, I mean, I moved over to Otter last year, and I fished in this same hut that I'm in right now on my birthday in a blizzard, the 60, 70 mile an hour winds. And this thing was, not only did it stand up to the winds without the roof caving in or the sides, but it was actually fairly quiet inside. And that was something that was kind of cool. I thought anyway, was kind of cool. Because, you think of the hubs and stuff like that. You don't really think that it's going to, be durable in the wind, but, it really was. So a great testament to Otter and making a quality product that, kind of can hang tough with the Wyoming conditions out here. So shout out to Otter with that. Sorry, I'm just trying to read some comments real quick here and get some other things kind of flowing around. Okay, so what's going on, Kendra, John? Yeah, Fetter rods are great. So if you guys have any questions about anything that I'm talking about, feel free to kind of jump in. This universal light kit here, you can see everything that it comes with. It's pretty basic. Takes 5 minutes to set up. What's going on, Jacob? Let's see. Is that with gear in the nets or without? Let's see. Tell what do you mean by, is that in the gear with the nets or without? Oh, you're talking about it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't really keep a whole lot of gear in the nets personally. For me, I keep most of my stuff. This thing's so big, I usually have a little table I put stuff on. Hey, Eric, the Fetter rods, you'll want to look up Jeff Fetters on Facebook, and just kind of message him and get that going. So once again, that's Jeff Fetters on Facebook. Yeah, the storage nets on the roof. I mean, I've had a few things in there. I haven't ever had a problem with it making my roof collapse or anything like that. Yeah, Weston's got it. You have to reach out to Fetters. So another cool thing that I got. Perfect. There you go, John. Another cool thing that I ran into this year from Deep Freeze. Actually, it was two things, and one of the things I don't have. Because I'm only half smart. So we went over this earlier. But this is the Deep Freeze ice anchor. So this fits into a 11 millimeter socket, and you can just drill it directly into the ice. It makes it so easy to do. What's cool about this is if you use a drill like I do, I run a Razor auger. And I actually have the Deep Freeze auger. It's the universal. Let me pull it up here online. It's the Easy Auger Quick Chuck. So if you go to deepfreezefishing.com, what it does is it snaps in and out. And actually, I think I can just share my screen real quick. Yes, we will share the screen real quick, and I will just show you guys. That makes it a lot easier. So let's see. Bam. So if you look at it here, this is snap in, snap out. And what's good about that is you can easily attach and detach your auger from your drill. And then you can hook it straight up to, and this is the chuck right here. And here's the easy anchors right here. So what makes it super easy is you can detach it from your drill, hook it up to this, get your hut set up, and then detach it, hook it right back up to your drill if you want. Just a cool product that I found out there, and I used so far this year. I was out at Boise by myself in a windstorm, and was able to move this big old flip over hut by myself. So it kind of a cool little thing that makes life a little easier. You don't have to change out different adapters or anything like that. You can drill your holes, pop the drill off, pop it on, drill these in, vice versa. And then when you go to leave, is the same thing. Screw them out. You're ready to go. And I'll share a little, a little tip with you guys. If you're out fishing and you want to move or take down one of these big hubs by yourself, what I like to do is kind of two things. So I leave two spikes in kind of at first. So you'll take all of your spikes out except for two. And usually what I try to do is have a side that it's going to collapse onto with the wind, so you're not fighting it. And then into the wind. Sorry. So you're going to want to have one of your external straps strapped into your anchor, and you're going to take all the other ice anchors out, fold it down into the wind. And then once your hub is down, then you're able to take that last strap off and put your hub away without going for a ride across the lake. So, unless you want a free hut ride across the lake, which it could happen out here. That's kind of what I do out there. And then I actually moved it by doing the same thing, by keeping one anchor in and just kind of sliding the hut over. And I like to pop the top down when you're doing that as well. It just kind of helps. It kind of helps the hut from getting that lift to go up. So let's see, what do we have now? Oh yeah, so one of the coolest new heaters out here is this Heat Hog. So you can see it looks kind of like the Mr. Buddy heater, except the grill on here much beefier. And there's a couple features on this thing that are amazing. So kind of the first thing here is your heat radius is with the Mr. Buddy heater. Let's see if I can get this thing. With the Mr. Buddy heater, you're kind of like this. With this, you have a better, wider angle of heat that goes out. It much more like rugged and rigid for getting beat up. And then also one of the coolest things about this, and I will tilt this down so you guys can see. Let's see, I'll bring it back, is it actually tilts. So you can see that heater tilts. So you don't have to get that huge pit or hole in the ice. You can kind of direct this. As you can see, there's multiple. It's kind of a free moving tilt here. It's pretty awesome, I think. So you're not always just making that divot in the ice where the heater's at. You can put this up on something and tilt it, and it's not going to burn. It's not going to burn or melt anything. You want to see the Recon tubes? There you go. So the dynamic 7-inch tubes. So yeah, it's really cool. Heat Hog. It's a cool name too, right? So, you know, it works pretty good. You just kind of turn the knob to light it, just like your typical heater. But it does tilt up and down. This particular model is about $100 online. It's just beefier, built better. And then one of the cool things on the back too is you pop this door off the back. You can hook a hose right there. But what's really cool is you put your propane tank inside the heater, and this actually warms your propane tank, so you use more propane that's in your tank. So the biggest thing with the little green cylinders is they typically freeze, and then you still have a little bit of propane that you usually can't get out with the traditional heaters. With this, it keeps it warm through the whole process. So the consumption is it's a little bit longer on this. You're going to get about 5 hours on one green cylinder on high with this heater. Put it inside the holder here. It's out of the way. You don't see it. It keeps the cylinder warm, and you get to, the most use out of your propane. More bang for your buck. The BTU on this one is 9,000 on this smaller heater, and then they do have a double one that's 18,000. So it is pretty similar to the Mr. Buddy heaters. Yeah, it's pretty. I'll show you guys kind of an overview on this. Do the little hand. There you go, Van White. But yeah, so it's a cool little deal. It is pretty heavy, but I mean this stuff is quality. Really cool product that I ran into out there as well. So another thing, if you guys are running Arc Lab shuttles, like I run an Arc Lab shuttle for my live scope. You can even do this with the regular one. You just get this little 9-inch foldable step stool, put it down like this, and then just put your Arc Lab or your electronics on it. It keeps it off the ice, keeps it dry. I use this, and it keeps it up a little bit, easier to see the screen. So if you want something that's compact, light, and you don't want to bring a big table out there, this is this is a pretty cool thing to put your fish finders on, your Arc Lab shuttles, or whatever shuttles that you guys might run. It's just something simple. They're like $10 on Amazon. Something simple that you can have. It also has little grip pads on here, so your stuff doesn't slide around. Just a little kind of hack for you guys that works pretty good anyway. Colin says the Heat Hog name is unbeatable. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's pretty good. I haven't seen, a whole lot of other people with the Heat Hog stuff out there. So, kind of one of the first people out here to have one. Like it so far. I will say, if you're running a bigger hut like this, you're going to want to get the dual one and not the single one. Because the single one keeps it warm, but not warm enough if it's super cold out. I found that out this weekend. All right. So now we're going to go on to the Razor ice auger. So you guys who have fished with me or have been following along have seen me talk about the Razor auger, rave about it. It's a really good auger. This here is the 8-inch synthetic and synthetic light, actually. And what's cool about this is you can actually extend this up or down. So if you needed some room, you just undo the screw here, slide this down, and then it basically, it's easy. We hiked with this up to the tiger trout lakes, golden trout lakes this year. Um, and this thing weighs just under 6 pounds. So it's a super cool, super fast auger. You can use this one early ice or late ice. You can extend this out here to make it longer. What really sets apart Razor, I gotta be careful here so I don't cut myself while I'm live. That'd be quite the show for you guys to watch. What sets this apart here is you'll notice these. If I can get a good angle here. Let's see. Yeah, you'll notice these wings right here. And these are called Razor. They're ice wings. So you can see right here. What that does is when you do that final punch through, you have one blade cuts one half of the hole, right? And before that other blade comes around, with a lot of other auger bits, you kind of get that jolt, that twist in your wrist. What this does is this weakens that other half of the ice as this is going through. So it's a very smooth drill all the way through when you drill it with this. Also, this is a full metal plate carrier down here, so it's not plastic. And then they do come with 2 extra flightings. Speaking of cutting my hand, if you guys want to hear a real funny story, since Nick brought it up, we were getting ready to go ice fishing last year, and what we decided is we're no longer allowed to work in the shop before 7 a.m. in the winter because somebody got a little too anxious cutting a zip strip off and decided to cut my thumb down to the bone, which actually, if I touch it, it's still, it went through a nerve, and the nerve still is not cool. And that was almost a year ago. So, little story for you there. Make sure, when you're cutting stuff, you're cutting away from your hand. That was one of those things. And, we still went out fishing anyway and caught some fish. But, if you guys are interested, go to razorpower.com. The synthetic light is $179.99, and in the synthetic ultra, which I also have, that's kind of the top of the line. The only difference is you have this part of the shaft goes all the way up. It's not adjustable, and it's got more flighting on there. So if you guys are looking for something that's light to get out on the ice with, something that's durable, it comes with 2 extra flights. It's easy on your pocketbook. I believe Shields and Johnstown carries these as well. But Razor is just a great auger. You guys won't be disappointed at all with it. I've been beating the crap out of them for 2 years. Haven't been able to break any flightings. Let's see. You like the drill best for the 8-inch and the battery version for the 10. Yeah, the 8-inch is good with the drill. 10-inch, I haven't really messed around a whole lot with the drill. What I usually do with the 8-inch out here is I'll drill four 8-inch holes in a square, and then chisel it out so I have a nice square hole. Whereas if I have the 10-inch, the 10-inch is just a little easier to manage with an actual power head. So yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, that was, yeah. So he said we went fishing. It was his bad. He said, yeah. Speaking of cutting, yeah. Sean's got a reaction to that, Nick. So yeah. So Zach's question was about the drill, 8 or 10-inch. So we went over that. So yeah, I mean, kind of Nick touched on it. The future of drills, I think are going to be of augers, finding the bit that you like, and then essentially everybody kind of has a drill at home that they use year round. So instead of getting something that you only use a couple months out of the year, get a drill, a couple extra batteries, And then you have something that you can use for around the house, working, stuff like that year round. And then when it comes time for ice fishing, I keep all my electronic stuff in a little bag, a little carrying bag. So extra batteries, my drill, all of these spikes, they're all in a nice little bag that I can easily grab, get stuff out of. I'm not losing anything, getting it, playing the whole game of where in the sled is all my stuff at. But yeah, so let's see. Get caught up, see if there's any more comments out there. So you guys can see in the upper corner of the screen, we got the Norsk batteries up there. So I can't really show you guys the Norsk battery right now because it's being used and the lights will go out, but they do have a 7.5, 15 amp, 20 amp, 32 amp hour battery, and they just came out with a 50 amp hour battery. Running the live scopes, I run with a 10-inch screen on the Arc Lab shuttle. I run a 32 amp hour lithium Norsk. Now give me about 18 hours of runtime on the live scope at full brightness. Let's see. Yeah, organization, exactly, Kurt. Yep. If you're organized, you can get stuff up quicker, get your gear in the water quicker. Essentially, you're fishing. Oh, hey, I'm back. Yeah, so we got a pretty good storm outside right now, about 50, 60 mile an hour winds. So I was impressed that the internet was holding up. So if you guys are still watching and I'm back, let me know, because I'm gonna talk about a few other things, and then I'll let you guys share some things, some items that you guys like that are new this year. I can pull them up on the internet and share them with you guys. If you have something that you guys are using that's new or something that you like, sweet, cool. Let me know in the comments. Sweet. Let me know in the comments if there's something that you guys are using that's new or that you like, or a tip or technique. And then what I'll try to do is, Chip wants to know if the live scope is worth the money. Chip, I would say yes. I've been using live scope since it has come out. And being a fishing guide and just a fisherman, I have learned so much, even when the fish are not biting, kind of what their habits are. You can tell on live scope if a fish is going to bite or not based on how they're moving through the water. It just gives you a little better edge on into the fish's mind about what they're doing, what they're thinking. You know, so yeah, I mean, it's worth it. And, you always hear guys like, oh, live scope is cheating and stuff like that. I have a few guys that are on that have been out with me when the bite is tough. You can see the fish down there. You can see them coming, looking at your bait. They just will not bite. And so it is pretty fun too. It adds an entertainment value into fishing that a lot of people don't really hit upon with live scope. Is even when the fish aren't biting, it's still pretty entertaining. The other night we were out fishing for small fish. I missed a bass like 3 times, hooked him, watched him come up with the bait a little bit. He got off, and then we saw like a 4-foot grass carp swim through, and we were all like, oh my God, like, look at that thing. Just swimming through. It didn't bite, but it just adds that entertainment value as well to fishing. So Is it worth the money? Yeah. I mean, if you go fishing quite a bit, I would say it's worth the money. If you don't go fishing a whole lot, maybe it's not worth the investment. But there's a whole lot of different options of to get a live scope, to get a shuttle, and everything like that. So it is a little bit of money, but for if you're going every weekend and you're into fishing, I would say it's well worth your money. Let's see. Yeah, and Weston says absolutely on is live scope worth the money. So Sean says haven't gotten the gear down yet, but he will this year. And then Nick wants to know if we've ever caught bigger lake trout out there at nighttime. You know what, man? I honestly I've caught some just before dark, but I haven't caught any big ones like in the middle of the night. So I haven't really gone a whole lot to answer that. I haven't heard a whole lot of people that have had pretty good success. If someone else has, they can chime in. Marcus says with the live scope, yeah, he told me exactly when the fish was going to bite. Yeah, that's always fun with clients when you'll have your bait here, and you'll have a fish that's up like this, and you'll just see them going like this. I can almost count down like, hey, get ready, it's going to bite. Or and if we're trolling, even. And this is another, I'll pop this back. Pop your question back up there so that way everybody can kind of track. A overlooked factor at live scope is trolling. I troll for salmon, lake trout, rainbows, 150 feet behind the boat. I can watch my baits all the way back there with the live scope. If I have a bait that say I have a bait on there and I have a little rainbow or lake trout that big, I can tell on the live scope, even if the pole isn't moving, that there's a fish on there or my gear's tangled, something like that, just by the way it's running. Because when you run things the right way, over time, you kind of get an idea of what it looks like on your live scope when you're trolling. And if something looks different, right, your bait looks a little bit bigger, or it's running, it's doing all kinds of weird stuff it normally doesn't do. I bring that line in, and 9 out of 10 times I have a fish on there or my bait is messed up. And you can see all that with the live scope. So if you didn't have that, you wouldn't be able to tell that something wasn't running other than, I'm not getting a bite. So I guess I'll bring this in and see if something's going on. But it is so entertaining trolling for lake trout and salmon, watching these fish like come in. I've had lake trout follow me for no lie 2 miles before they finally bite big fish. I've had salmon, everybody thinks you got to be right at the depth with the salmon. So those of you guys who are listening right now, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. You don't need to be right where the salmon are. I've been 30 feet above, 30 feet below, and watch these fish. If the school's down here, my bait's up here, I've watched big fish go right by my bottom bait and go straight up to the top one. And by the time I can be like, oh, hey, it's going to hit that rod's going off and that salmon's jumping out of the water. So it's super cool to be able to have that technology to see all that stuff. And then once again, it wraps into that entertainment factor. And as a guide, that's big for me. If you got kids out there, it's entertaining. They can watch the fish. It's almost like a video game. They can see things down there. It just keeps your brain occupied. And last year, we had, you want to talk about entertainment value, had a big fish come diving down on the blades. It missed, hit the ground, and you could see the mud sediment kick up from the live scope. And we weren't even mad that the fish missed and didn't bite. It was so big, it left like a plume of dust up. And we were all just sitting there laughing that this fish came down and, went to go hit the bait, missed, and then made that big cloud. We watched it all on the live scope. So, yeah, I mean, that's a very good question. And about the live scope. Yeah, Nick says, if you have the money for live scope, you won't regret it. Prices are coming down. Yeah. So you can get into an LVS 32, which is the original live scope, the triangular transducer, I believe, for about $1,000 now. The LVS 34, which is the rectangular one, which is what I use. You're looking at still about $1,600 for it, and that's just for the transducer. Nick wants to know if we have a hard transducer cover or the soft cover. So I actually have both. I have a like a neoprene cover that works pretty good, and then I also have a hard cover. I also have a 3D printer, so I have been messing around with 3D printing some different covers and testing it out. If you're out on the ice, you know that neoprene cover is nice. It comes off and on. If you're on the boat and you know you're going to be moving, I have the Brew City bracket. So let's see if I'll pull this up so you guys can see. This is the bracket I have on my boat. So let's see, Brew City Live Scope. Let's see here. See if I can get the old Brew City pole up here. Yeah, I wanted to see if I had a picture of it. Let's see. We'll go and let's see. All right. We get this popped up for you guys. All right. So you can see the Brew City pole here comes off the side of the boat. What's cool about the Brew City pole is you can rotate this part here. And so when I travel with it, I simply pull this pole right here that the mouse is on. I pull that pole out that sticks out from the boat and then put it on the inside and tighten it. And then it's an easy way to transport your pole. So if you guys are looking at buying that, you can go to Big Fish Encounters and get that pole ordered. It's about, I want to say about $400. So let's see. Logan wants to know if the lake trout are looking healthier than last year. Well, a lot of the fish I've been catching are thin, but you know it's post spawn, so most of the fish are going to be looking kind of ragged right now. I don't think you're going to see much improvement. I know last year we did catch quite a few like really skinny fish. Once again, the kokanee populations are down. So a lot of these lake trout are eating burbot, rainbows, and stuff like that now. This time of year, like if you go this time of year, you're going to catch a lot of a lot of thinner fish, and that's mainly because of post spawn. But I did see that some of the fish weren't quite as fat last summer as they typically do, or as they typically are. But we did catch a lot of really good fish, as Weston said. They were in great shape. So yeah, Sean wants to know the best live scope transducer for deep water, 80 to 100 foot. Yeah, you'd want to get the LVS 34 or the 64. The 64, you're going to get you're going to lose the quality of the image, but you're going to gain range. So if you're fishing exclusively 80 to 100 feet, and you can afford the 64, the transducer alone, I believe, is like 2,900 or 2,500. I use the 34 and 80 to 100 foot and down in the down mode and forward for jigging, mainly down once I'm vertically jigging, at 80 to 100, and it works pretty good. One thing that guys get caught up when using live scope is, oh, I can't see my bait. I can't see my bait. When you're fishing for lake trout, they will let you know where your bait is. I don't know how many times I can't see a client's bait or my bait, but I'll move the bait, and then you'll see the fish react and go to where the bait is, and then you know exactly where your bait is. So it's just a little bit of a hack. If you don't know where your bait is, kind of move it around. The fish will tell you where it's at. So you don't need to. When you're fishing that deep, you don't need to see your bait. The fish will let you know most of the time what it is, what's going on. So let's see. Greg wants to know if I'm happy with the Brew City setup. No, the Brew City has been amazing. It's so easy to use. I have used other pole variations on the boat. This is by far the easiest to use. You just pull a pin, pivot it down, pull a pin, pivot it up when you travel. And then when you leave, I just pop it out and put it on the inside of my boat, tighten it down. And then you're protecting that transducer when you're going down there. So Logan wants to know, do I use the bottom tracking feature? I have it on my Optimums that I have. I don't really use the bottom tracking feature, to be honest, just because there's a lot of junk on the bottom of the lake by us. And so I manually do it. You can use the bottom tracking feature. It does work pretty good. You still have to loosen and tighten your rods. It's like the only thing I don't like about it. I'm already back there messing with the rods. I might as well just be messing with the downrigger anyway. And that's kind of what I do, because I'm pretty particular with where the stuff is when I'm trolling. But yeah, you troll the bottom, suspended for lake trout. It just depends what you're using. All right. We got about 10 minutes or so here before I got to wrap it up. So if you guys have, I got a few more products. Yeah. So another cool thing that Otter came out with is this collapsible ice scoop. So it pops out like that. You can see it pops in, and it's got a tape measure that goes, the tape part goes up to 27 inches. And then this is, if you want to know how long it is, it's about 33 inches. But it also has a chisel on the end. So if you have to chisel some smaller things out, it does have a chisel on the end of it as well. So kind of a cool ice scoop, long handle, nice plastic dipper portion of it. You just pop that button in, fold it back up for storage. And so kind of a cool little ice scoop and chisel all in one. Hey, what's going on, Ethan? Hey, it's better to be late than never showing up at all, right? Ask Ben about showing up late to lake trout fishing and how well that turned out for him. And then another cool little thing is this little Otter table here. As you can see, it's got 2 cup holders in there. Just a nice little table to have in the shack. I was using it this last weekend. It was pretty fun. I'm trying to see if I have anything else out here. But yeah, that's pretty much it on my end for like new gear. Next week we might talk about ice conditions. I wish I could rewind. What's good about this? what's good about this, Brady, is I should be able to save this and upload it to YouTube. So if you guys haven't, go on the Recon Angling YouTube, subscribe, because I'm going to be saving all these live shows onto YouTube, so you can go back and kind of rewatch everything. So hopefully that works. If it doesn't, moving on forward, I'll figure out. I know I did it in the past. Uh, so, and we'll get that, and we'll get that kind of going on there, for there. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, once again, this weekend is the Mac Attack Derby here at Flaming Gorge at Buckboard Marina. And I'll just kind of show the flyer again for you guys. But there's a lot of cool prizes going down this weekend. A lot of money to be had, and it's for a good cause. There's an overabundance of smaller lake trout, and I guess I'll kind of tap into that a little bit because as lake trout anglers, we're always taught, right, that if you get a small lake trout, you need to throw it back so it gets bigger. Well, now with technology, we're finding out that may not be the case every time. What they're finding out here at the gorge is there's basically a couple strains of lake trout. There's one that only grows to 23 inches. And those fish that they've sampled are anywhere from 16 to 30 years old. And then, you have some of the other fish that are trophy size and get bigger. But a good way to tell if some of these lake trout are younger, what I found is some of these fish will look darker. They'll be smaller, but they'll have kind of bigger heads. Dark. Their skin will be darker, and they'll have kind of like bigger, like wrinkly fins, if that makes sense. But anyway, they're finding out that these fish are the ones that are kind of impacting the kokanee populations more so than the big fish. So the goal of the Derby is kind of like the Burbot Bash, is to get out here and thin the population of smaller lake trout. Yeah, that's a good the humpback head looking fish. Yeah, that's a good way. That's a good way to put it, Zach, with those fish. But yeah, you can tell that those fish are older. But they're encouraging people to come out here and keep lake trout under 25 inches. For me, personally, I like to keep that 18 to 22 inch range. According to their graph study, is really the size of the fish there's an overabundance to on the lake. Oh, hey, what's going on, Nunny? Yeah, so Nunny's a Cowboys fan. My Packers somehow squeaked into the playoffs, which was not expecting that, but Nunny and I have a little bet going on. And so the Derby's going to get in the way of me watching the game a little bit Sunday afternoon, but nobody likes the Cowboys, Nunny. So, well, Dalton does, but he doesn't count. So you guys can have your own little Cowboy party somewhere else, not around me. So it's go Packers. But anyway, it's a great event. The smaller lake trout actually are pretty good to eat. I don't eat a lot of trout myself, but the smaller lake trout are pretty good. It's a great event hosted by Buckboard Marina out here. And some awesome sponsors. We have Performance Auto, Arnold Family Chiropractic, Rocky Mountain Tackle, Radical Glow, Buckboard Marina. They're all pitching in $2,500 for 10 internally tagged lake trout. So if we get one, each one of those is, yeah. So Sean says not only is the 1 star, it's a rating too. It's not a logo, it's a rating. So you Cowboys fans out there. Um, but yeah, so there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money to be had on the Derby out here. Um, and then you guys will be able to come and hang out with all of us out here. Yeah, see, Kendra says the Cowboys suck too. So oh, I'm back. Yeah, so Kurt said I'll try to summon my inner Shane, let the force awaken. Yeah, man, a lot of the fish are going to be on the points and stuff close to the river channel, putting on the feed right now. That's where we're seeing a lot of fish being caught, suspended in that 80 to 100 foot. Those fish are suspended about 40 to 45 feet down for the pups. So yeah, sweet. I'm back. We got quite the blizzard going on out there. I was getting everything set up and yeah. So yeah, this is the first Recon Angling Live of 2024. And we're inside the otter hut. So I had to do the show inside of a hut. I might try to figure out, get a 50 amp hour Norsk battery and try to have everything powered and do a live show on the ice while ice fishing. That could be pretty entertaining. What's going on, Joe? Yeah, see, Jeremy says, "Nutty, I like you, man, but the Cowboys will choke." So that's what I'm counting on. And you guys got our old coach Mike McCarthy. He knows how to lose to young, underrated teams. Ask me how I know, being a Packers fan for the last so many years that he was our head coach. But yeah. Anyway, guys. Yeah, live on the ice will be cool. I might have to try to figure out a way to do that. All I really need, and I got this hut, is get a table set up, and you guys can watch my face when I miss fish. That could be pretty entertaining. Could also turn into a drinking game too if you know play your cards right with that. But we'll try to get some cool guests lined up throughout the year for you guys. Talk about different aspects of ice fishing and open water. I do have a very limited amount of ice trips available if you guys want to come out and ice fish for a big lake trout. I don't know if we're going to get ice, but we if we do, I'll have a few extra days. If not, fishing on the boat has been a lot hotter than the temperature has been. So if you guys want to come out and learn how to ice fish from a boat, shoot me a message on Facebook, and we'll get you guys out and get you a shot at a big fish. Learn some techniques in person. I get to do my favorite thing: yell at clients. Usually, that's a pretty good time. Nunny knows all about that. He says the cheeseheads don't have a chance, and all I'm gonna say is kind of like you setting the hook on a fish, buddy. Yeah, yeah, rate it. Yeah, yeah. That's one thing I have to watch. Yeah, swearing when I miss. Gonna have to have a deal on there. Let's see. Maybe we could hire you as a virtual guide. You could fish while we watch from you at home. Hey, you know, that's an idea right there, Joe. Is have a virtual guide. It's like having a fishing game. Hey, look at this is the fish you would have caught if you were here. But I-80's closed. You couldn't make it here. So here's the fish you would have caught. Yeah. Yeah, ouch. Yeah. It's all good, man. Nunny and I like to go rounds back and forth with each other. Logan wants to know if the Navionic maps are very accurate out there. I'm usually using the C maps. Yeah, so for the gorge, I will say that Navionics is pretty darn accurate from what I've found. For the lake, anyway. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Weston said, "Boom! Don't mess with Shane in the tent." Yeah, anything goes. Whatever happens in the otter stays in the otter out here. So, bro, if you're watching, you know, Can't be rubbing them hamburger buns out there. That's a good inside joke. If Brian Brosdahl's watching out there, we had a fun time out there at the Ice Expo in Minnesota at the St. Paul Ice Expo. Nick says still have to travel to San Francisco, Nutty. You know those Cowboys travel well. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Get some good old football talk. We only got a couple more weeks. It's weird. Football season's almost done, but fishing season's year round, so it keeps us entertained. Might have to try to do a couple shows. Usually I do my shows in the winter because summer I'm so busy. I don't have time, but maybe I'll have to do a few. Maybe I'll just do a couple live shows while I'm with clients. That usually goes pretty good too. It'll be highly entertaining for everybody to watch. But yeah, if you guys are just tuning in to the show, we talked about a lot of stuff. What's the lake? There is no lake offset right now. Philip wants to know what the lake offset is. The lake is full right now, so there is no offset. Depths are fairly true. I think it's maybe a foot off. But yeah, I'm going to try to save all of these shows to YouTube. So if you guys are watching or just tuning in and missed a bunch of stuff we talked about, want to go back, feel free to do that. The Recon Angling YouTube page. And then also we got to announce the winner of the Dynamic Bundle, which is going to be a 26-inch light little rod and a bunch of gear. Goes to Shelby Garris. So Shelby, if you're out there watching, I think you guys came out and Chad came out with me. You guys came out with me this last year. Anyway, you won the package, so I'll get that info over to you guys. Yeah, hey Marcus, if you're looking for a heat hog, just let me know because I might have one for you. So, but yeah, it's heathog.com. But yeah, those heaters are pretty cool. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the support. It was really fun getting back and chit-chatting with everybody, talking about fishing. As always, if you guys have ideas of stuff you want to talk about on the show, some topics to cover, feel free to comment on here. I'll go back and look, comment on the post, and we'll see what we can do of getting some of that information to help you guys out there. Yeah, so Kurt Cheever says, this is the way. Yeah, you know, I will have to say I probably will do a special May the 4th live show that you guys will find highly entertaining. That's all I'm going to say. I bought a 3D printer, and I've been printing some Star Wars stuff to wear. So those of you who follow me on my personal Facebook page know what I'm talking about already because you've seen some sneak peeks. But yeah, it'll be it's pretty cool content that'll be coming out next year once I get all this stuff done and made. So yeah. So Kurt, yeah, this is the way. Arian, yep, thanks. Be safe out there too. Until the next time, guys, tight lines and stay safe and warm out there. And of course, yeah, May the 4th cosplay, probably. Oh, Nunny says the Cowboys are coming for you. Well, they might come for us, but they might trip and fall a few times. But yeah, it was fun hanging out with all you guys tonight. And as Kurt said, this is the way. We'll see you guys next week. Later.